In this video, we're going to be talking about how do you grow a church, part one. I'm going to be sharing with you some of the tips and strategies that I've been using to help churches all around the country. In fact, we've had over 7,000 new families schedule a visit to the churches we work with, and I'm going to show you in this video exactly how we did it. In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you the exact strategy that I've used at my church to bring in over 100 new families in only 4 months, and how we got 80% of them to go through next steps and join our church within 3 weeks. All right, now recently I had a chance to sit down with a really influential pastor with a large church here in the US, and he said something that kind of blew my mind. And honestly, when he first told me, I didn't really agree with him, but once he explained it, I did. So I wanted to talk about this, and then we're going to kind of dive into kind of the framework here. So he said most churches don't grow because the pastor doesn't actually want them to, right? And so I work with churches all over the country, and so I totally disagree with him. I'm like, no, every church I work with wants to grow. He said, well, here's the deal, especially when you have smaller churches that are trying to break through the 100 barrier or the 200 barrier, a lot of times what happens is those pastors are the only primary caregiver, right? So if that's you, you're the one doing all the hospital visits and all the weddings and all the funerals, and you're also doing sermon prep and vision casting, and you're trying to recruit volunteers, right? So if you're the primary caregiver and you're doing all of that, you don't have time to work on the church because you're constantly working in the church. So he said what happens is, because most pastors at that level start to associate the idea of twice the amount of people with twice the amount of pain, even though they say they want to reach people, and they really do. They want to increase their impact, they want to reach their city, they want to grow their church, but they actually associate increase with pain. So this is something that we call increase equals pain. And this mindset is holding a lot of churches back. So one of the things that you want to do is ask yourself, is there any nugget of truth in this for me, right? Am I associating any type of increase with pain? And if you are, that's totally fine. The most important part is to start where you are, right? And recognize if that's the case, how can you offload some of the caregiving responsibilities, right? Are there some volunteer pastors or some other people on staff that could help you maybe do some of the weddings and some of the funerals, some of the hospital visits, maybe some of the house calls, the pre-marriage counseling, the marital counseling, right? Is there someone that could help you with that so that you don't have to do all of it? That way we're not associating increase with pain. All right, so let's dive into 5 things that you can do in order to grow your church. Number 1, prayer. Now, I assume that you're probably already doing this, so we're not going to spend a lot of time on this, but I want to remind you and encourage you. John 14:13-14 says, you can ask anything in my name and I'll do it, so that the Son will bring glory to the Father. Yes, ask me anything in my name and I'll do it. That's a promise that we need to grab a hold of and we need to remind God of, right? So no matter what it is that you're asking God for, you can ask anything in his name and he'll do it. So one of the things that you can do is you can set up a prayer page on your website, and then you can actually send people from your community to the prayer page and just say, hey, how can I pray for you this week? I've seen churches do this all over the country, and this works really, really well. In fact, I guarantee if you try this and you put this on social media and either have people comment on the post, or you set up a Facebook Messenger ad and actually send people into Messenger, or if you just send people from Facebook to your prayer page on your website, you are going to wildly exceed your expectations. Every single time a church takes me up on this challenge and actually does this, they come back and say, Chris, this is crazy. I did not think it was going to work, but we had dozens or sometimes even hundreds of prayer requests that came in. So set up a prayer page on your website, simply asking people, how can I pray for you this week? And then have a simple form or a chat bot or something like that where people can actually submit their prayer requests, and then you can pray for them. Okay, so when we started doing this at my church, in the first 33 days, we had over 500 prayer requests. We had 96 people that signed up for Plan Your Visit and actually scheduled an appointment to visit our church. Pretty cool. All right, number 2, fill the fridge. Now, I'd love to take credit for this, but actually my wife, who taught elementary school for 11 years, came up with this idea, and I love it. We've done it at my church. I've helped a lot of other churches do it, and every single time churches are pumped about how well this actually works and how well it's received in the community. So it's pretty simple. All you want to do is you want to go to your local elementary school, and you could even do this at your middle school and high school as well. But you want to go to your local elementary school and just go to the principal and say, hey, what's up? My name's Pastor Chris. I pastor Guts Church here in town, and we just wanted to come in. We really appreciate what you guys are doing, and I know this is not an easy time to be a teacher or school administrator. So one of the things we'd like to do just to give back, just to kind of appreciate you guys, is come into the Teacher's Lounge once a month, and we just want to fill the fridge. We'll put all your favorite drinks in there and your favorite snacks, right? Coffee, drinks, sodas, anything you guys like. But we just want to come in and fill the fridge and bring in some snacks from the church just to help appreciate all the teachers and their hard work. There's not a principal in the country who's going to turn you down on that. Every single one of them is going to appreciate the fact of what you're doing, and he's probably even going to talk to some of the other churches about it. And then when you do it, just come in once a month, right? Find out what they like. Do they like, Starbucks cold brew, or do they like Dr. Pepper, or do they like Coke over Pepsi, right? Whatever it is, and fill the fridge with all their favorite drinks. You can even get a bunch of like Little Debbie's and tasty cakes and stuff like that, or you can have people from the church bake cookies or cakes or cupcakes or something like that and drop them off in the teacher's lounge, right? So one of the most important things though is you want to make sure to leave a letter on the fridge every single time you do this so they know it was you. So just leave a letter, something real basic that says like, hey, we filled the fridge. Just want to let you know how much we appreciate all the hard work, sacrifice, and commitment that you guys give day in and day out. So we filled the fridge with all of your favorite drinks and snacks. If there's any drinks or snacks that we forgot, please let us know. We'd be happy to bring them next month, right? And then just say, sincerely, your friends at Faith Church. And then a really important part is put a PS at the bottom. How can we pray for you this week? And then send them to the prayer page that you set up on your website. So faithchurch.com/prayer. Right now you have a way you're actually giving them something practical and helping them with snacks, but then you're also sending them to your prayer page where now you can pray for them, and you're continuing to build leadership and relationship equity with every single teacher at the school. All right, number 3, Facebook ads. Now, there's 2.7 billion people on Facebook and 1.8 billion log in every single day. And the average person spends 38 minutes a day on Facebook, right? So the only problem with Facebook is that organic reach is down so low at this point that whenever you post something on your church Facebook page, Facebook only shows it to about 3% of the people who like your post, right? Now, that's kind of a bummer if you're hearing that for the first time, but the good news is Facebook actually has a way for us to reach every single person in our community, and that's with a simple Facebook ad, right? So at this point, Facebook's basically just said, hey, you got to pay to play. So no big deal. Is set up your targeting wide open. So literally just go into the Facebook Ads Manager, which you can get to by going to facebook.com/ads manager, right? This is not a boosted post. This is a targeted Facebook ad. So go to facebook.com/ads manager, and you can create a simple Facebook ad, and you'll just drop a pin on your church. You type in the church's address, and then just draw a radius out that is driving distance of your church. So for me, my church in Tulsa, Oklahoma, it's about 15 miles. So I'll literally type in the church address. I'll pull out the radius to 15 miles, and then I keep the targeting wide open, right? This is completely backwards and counterintuitive because most people want to over target. They want to say, okay, we're going to run to every single person who lives within 2 miles of the church and is between the ages of 30 and 35 and has kids between the ages of 4 and 12. And next thing you know, your potential audience size gets so small that your cost for the Facebook ad ends up being astronomical, right? So your cost per click is super high. What you actually want to do is leave it wide open. Facebook's algorithm is designed to find people that your ad resonates with. So that way they click on the ad, they go to your website, and now they are submitting a prayer request, or they're going to a landing page and actually taking action on your website. And you're doing it for pennies on the dollar because you're letting Facebook's algorithm do all of the heavy lifting for you. So leave the targeting wide open. Everybody within driving distance of the church, 18 to 65 plus. All right, so before I get to my last 2 points, man, would you like this video? And make sure to subscribe. We're putting out brand new videos every single day, 5 days a week. And if you make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell, then you'll get notified every single time we drop a new video. All right, number 4, plan your visit. Now, when we first did this at my church, we actually increased our first-time visitors by 42% in the first month, 60% in the second month, 87% in the third month, and 113% in the fourth month. And the reason is pretty simple. Every single person is looking for a personal connection, and Plan Your Visit does exactly that. So if you want to know more about Plan Your Visit, I actually did a deep dive into Plan Your Visit and exactly how it works, so you can check that video out right up here. But basically, Plan Your Visit is the idea of having new families sign up and basically schedule an appointment to visit your church on Sunday. That way, you know that they're coming, you can connect with them before they get there, answer any questions they might have, and you can assign a friendly host to meet them at the front door, help them get their kids checked into kids' church, show them around the church, introduce them to some key staff and leaders, and then even sit with them in service, right? So one of the things that we found out works really, really well is you want to make sure that no matter what happens, that your Plan Your Visit host introduces the guest to the pastor, right? Because 80% of people who meet the pastor on the first visit will come back for a second visit. So it's really important, if you do nothing else, at least make sure that every single guest has a chance to meet you as the pastor on their very first visit, because 8 out of 10 of them are going to come back next week. So Facebook ads and Plan Your Visit is the exact strategy I used at my church to bring in over 100 new families in only 4 months. And we found that 80% of the people that came through Plan Your Visit ended up joining our church within 3 weeks. All right, and finally, number 5, YouTube. Now, most people don't know this, but YouTube is actually a search engine. So while all the other social media platforms out there usually have a spike whenever you put your first content out, and then they kind of die, right? So if you go post about baptisms and baby dedications, the first day you might get some people to like and comment, maybe the second day, but then basically it just dives and gets buried in all your content, right? That's kind of how social media works. Doesn't matter if it's Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, doesn't matter. But with YouTube, it's actually a search engine. So the longer it's on YouTube, the more that people are actually going to find it. Not only that, but YouTube is actually the second largest search engine in the world next to only Google. And by the way, it's actually owned by Google. So YouTube videos now show up in a lot of Google searches as well. So utilizing YouTube is really, really important, especially moving forward in this day and age where things are increasingly digital, right? We've got all these kids that are being born now that are digital natives. And so YouTube is the universal language for young people. So this is a great way to get in front of people, to attract new visitors to your church. And by the way, YouTube as a search engine is bigger than Yahoo, Bing, and every other search engine combined. So a pro tip is that you can also use targeted YouTube ads to run to everyone within driving distance of your church as well. And a lot of churches don't realize this, but I've actually done this in my church. In fact, just to test it, I actually tried this a while back where I turned all of our Facebook ads off and I just ran targeted YouTube ads that ran people to our Plan Your Visit page. I was actually shocked by how many people still plan to visit. We got tons of people that came from YouTube to our church website and our Plan Your Visit page and then actually plan to visit. I did this for about 2 months, and while Plan Your Visits were slightly down, it was shocking how many people still plan to visit. So while the Plan Your Visits weren't quite as much as they were with Facebook, they were still pretty daggone close. So if you do this in conjunction with Facebook, you can literally just throw gasoline on the bonfire and accelerate your results. All right, so that's it for How Do You Grow a Church Part 1. So make sure to click on the link in the description below so you can check out How Do You Grow a Church Part 2.